Hi, my name is Brooke. Welcome back to my channel. This is string theory. If you've never seen me before, my name's Brooke. I like to crochet. I'm learning how to knit, and I just love everything crafty. Christmas has passed, and while I love Christmas time, it was very stressful trying to make a bunch of gifts for all of, the people I care about. So now I'm actually able to start making things that I want and that I'm interested in, which feels so good. It feels so good. There are a couple of things that I'm working on right now. For one thing, I am balling up all of the yarn that I own. So I have a cake winder, but the cakes that I make tend to fall apart for some reason. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or if it's something with my winder. And also, the base of my yarn winder is so small that if I'm trying to do a whole skein of yarn, it starts to fall off of the edge and go under into the gears, and it is the most stressful and frustrating thing in the whole world. So I've kind of given up on caking my yarn, and I've actually started to really enjoy just balling up my yarn by hand. It takes a long time, but I think that it's worth it, and I feel like it's a lot more secure when it's in a ball like this compared to the cakes, at least the way I was making them. I have a couple of whips that I'm working on that I'll show you guys throughout the video, but overall, this is just going to be us hanging out, crafting. Um, yeah. So grab a snack, grab your whip, and let's start crafting. Oh, also, I have been getting into amigurumi. The only thing is that I got skinny chenille yarn because I was like, oh no, that blanket yarn must be too thick for making plushies and things. But it turns out that's what everyone uses. So the skinny chenille yarn is very small, and it makes a lot of gaps in the plushies that I've been making. But I'll show you guys what I've made so far. Let me move my lunch over. So I guess this is my first amigurumi that I made, but it was actually my first attempt at making a keychain for my sister-in-law. I accidentally gave the head a butt. I don't know if you can see it. This was my very, very first attempt at making something like 3D out of crochet, and it's not that bad. It just needs a little shaping, right? So that was my first one. Then I made this moon with the intent of it looking like a jelly cat. I just never added on the feet because I don't have brown yarn. The face is a little wonky, and I hate the gaps. I hate it when you can see the gaps between the stitches for amigurumi. But overall, the shape of the crescent moon is really cute. And I think it could also be a fortune cookie, which would be super cute too. What did I make next? Next, I made this guy. For Christmas, I got a gift card to Michael's, and I used that gift card to buy the skinny chenille yarn that I was telling you about. And this was the first thing I made with it. It's super cute. I love the pattern. The only thing is that one, the yarn is too skinny, so you can really see the gaps in between the stitches. But also I messed up on the petals, and so they don't really line up very nicely. And they're right there in the front, so it's super obvious. But I do want to make another one. I want to try it with a thicker yarn, or I'm actually trying it again with a smaller hook to see if I can make this skinny chenille work for this pattern, but we'll see. Next, I made this little guy. He's got something wrong with him, but we love him and we don't judge. So I really do think he is adorable, even though his face is a little wonky. I think I tightened the eyes too much. I think that's what's wrong with him. But yeah, we love him. Super cute. Then I made this bee, and I feel like the skinny chenille yarn actually was perfect for it. I used skinny chenille for the yellow and then Bernat Fluffy for the black. And it kind of makes it extra contrasting, I guess you could say, but super cute. And the last amigurumi I've made so far, this has only been in a span of like 3 days, but I've been on an amigurumi kick. I made the little mushroom guy. I followed a pattern on YouTube, and I think that the pink and yellow, that's not yellow. I think that the pink and cream are a little bit too close of colors, so you can't really tell. And it also very much does not look like a mushroom. And I think, again, it's because I'm using the skinny chenille yarn compared to the Bernat blanket yarn or any of those other thicker yarns that people use for amigurumi. So while I do like him, I like his little arms, his little feet, I don't think it looks enough like a mushroom to call it a mushroom guy. I think he's just a little marshmallow wearing a bucket hat. So we're going to go with that. That was my intent all along. A couple of things that I'm working on right now. I'm going to start making my mom a tote bag out of granny squares. I did make her some stuff for Christmas, but because I was making stuff for lots of other people, I couldn't really take the time to make something super special for her. So I'm going to make her a tote bag out of granny squares, just out of scrap yarn that I have from other gifts that I made for Christmas. So this is the very first granny square that I made. I also found a whip that I had lost for a while. I found the sweater that I was crocheting. I don't know what pattern I was using. I think it was one on YouTube, but I can't find it anymore. I can't even find it in my history. I went as far as looking in my history of videos I've watched. But this is what I have. I think that from here I could figure out how to make the rest of the sweater. I know enough about crocheting to figure it out. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. I'm really happy you guys are here. Before the sun went down, I wanted to show you some other things that I've finished recently. First is this beanie. I made it for my husband. I don't look good at beanies, so I just wanted to show you what it looks like. He picked out the yarn himself from a local yarn shop that we have right by us, and it's really soft and comfortable without being too hot. I also made this hooded scarf. I didn't really follow a pattern. I just kind of did it based off of what I thought, which I probably should have followed a pattern, to be honest. It is supposed to be snowing here in Denver soon. We haven't gotten like any snow this winter so far. Oh no. Who's he? I need to weave that in. It's super cute. I like the colors together. I feel like a little Russian woman. I made this moss stitch scarf with scrap yarn. I brushed one side to make it fuzzy, but I think that I prefer that being on the inside to like keep me more warm and having the unbrushed side out. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things that I've made myself this year. I really like the colors, and it's just I love the moss stitch. It's so pretty. Get me out. Here's the brushed side and the not brushed side. You can see that there's a clear difference between the two, but I like having the non-brushed side out when I wear it. I'm losing daylight fast. All right, I think this is the last thing that I've made recently. This is the Little Bo Peep bonnet, I think is the name, and it's by Amazingish Grace. I love her. She's one of my favorite creators on here. It's gonna look kind of silly without like a big jacket over it because it's not really meant to be worn with like a tank top and stuff. But I brushed this one too. You can't tell as much. And this is a nicer yarn that I also got from the local yarn shop. It fits really nicely. It's cute. It's warm, and I will definitely be utilizing this as the winter starts acting more like winter here in Denver. I almost forgot one of my most functional projects that I've finished in the last week or so. I made myself a crochet hook case. I didn't follow a pattern. I just kind of was going off of what I wanted it to look like and how I wanted it to function. It has two bows that keep it closed. And when you open it up, it has slots for my hooks, it has a pocket for my scissors, it has a pocket with a flap for all my darning needles, and then I like to use nail clippers if I'm traveling. And then I have a little chain, well, it's actually an I-cord that I keep my stitch markers on. It is super functional. I do want to add a pocket for my tape measure, I think, but I love the colors. I love the setup of it. I do kind of wish that I used cotton yarn instead, so it was a little bit more sturdy, but this is just yarn that I had left over from other projects, so I didn't want to buy any more yarn for this project. Thumbnail! So that's what I've made recently. I think all of that stuff has been finished within the last week while I've been off from work. But I'm hoping that in this next week I have off, I can finish some of my whips and maybe start a couple more projects that I'll show you. Good morning, everyone. Today I don't have a lot of plans. I'm going to continue working on my sweater, continue working on my tote bag for my mom, and I actually plan to make a knit scarf with the Bernat Fluffy yarn. It's thicker, so I think it'll work up a little bit faster, and I just plan to do like a stockinette stitch, get used to the knitting and the purling, and hopefully I can actually have something made, in the next week or so that's knit, because I haven't been able to finish anything knit wise since I've started trying to learn. So that's my plan for today, and I got my coffee. I'm going to put on some shows. I actually think I'm going to start Bridgerton today. I've never watched it, but I've heard good things. So I think I'm going to try that out today. And yeah, let's get to crafting. Good morning and happy New Year's Eve. At least it's New Year's Eve for me. It's probably well past that for you. So happy 2026. I did finish my first knit project last night. So I was planning on doing a scarf, but I realized that I didn't want to wait that long to have something finished. So I turned it into a headband. I didn't follow a pattern or anything. I just connected it with a darning needle at the end. But it's cute. I don't think that there are any super visible mistakes, and I can get away with wearing it, and people aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, she definitely made that. The yarn is super fluffy, so it's kind of covering up any mistakes that I made, which is probably a good thing. But it's pretty warm too, so it could also work as an ear warmer when it gets colder. I also found a pattern. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it too. I found a free pattern on Instagram for this frog, and so I made it while my husband and I watched a movie today. It's not great. I think that the white is a little off center, or the face, or something's off center. Something's a little wonky, but it's cute. It didn't take me very long, and I like having projects that I can finish in a day while I'm working on my bigger projects, so I feel, some sense of accomplishment rather than having to wait weeks to actually see a project finished. My sweater and my mom's tote bag are coming along. It's just those bigger projects that take a while to finish up. So I'm going to keep working on those. Right now, I don't have any other projects in the works, but I might start something new today, along with the other 2 whips that I've been working on. Of course, I have big plans for New Year's Eve. So I won't have a bunch of time to knit or crochet today. But you know what? Maybe I'll get my second knit project going. I'll find something that I can start today. I think I'm going to use this yarn again and then the 8mm needles just because it works up really quickly. And I really like how easy this yarn is to use. And again, it covers up my mistakes, which is really nice. All right, well, I think I'm going to end the video here. Me and my husband are going to go enjoy our New Year's Eve. I hope that all of you guys have a great new year. I hope that 2026 treats you well, and hopefully you guys will stick around as I continue to make videos and we can be friends. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.